Hey, what's up, Mr. Ant? So I pulled the trigger on the Doxa today while I was listening to Archie Luxury live stream a couple of hours ago. So here it is. Bam. Ordered today. No taxes. Credit card. I bought this one. Why isn't this zooming for me here? Like it used to zoom. I lost my zooming feature. Let me try to get that back. Just trying to figure out how to zoom in with this thing here again. It doesn't let me do it this time. It was a nice feature I had last time. Son of a gun. Okay. So yeah, so there it is, man. You know, I went onto a Doxa forum and there was a lot of people talking about it. A couple of people said they just ordered it, so I didn't want to mess around. You know what? One of the things I figured out, Mr. Ant, is that the special editions, these ones right here, these three, the three special editions right here, I found out that they are double bubble crystals. So if you look at any of the other ones, you see how it's just a flat single crystal, right? But if you look at any of these 50th anniversaries, they're the double bubble. Really cool. So that was a for sure winner, chicken dinner. Yeah, it's coming from Switzerland. And they said it'd be here in 4 or 5 days, believe it or not. And when I called them, when I called and spoke to a representative, they sent me a link to a brand new limited edition piece right here. Is that coming up? Oh, not. I have to copy the link. Hold on. He said, I'll give you another option to think about. There is he sent me a link for this watch that just came out. It's another double bubble limited edition, 100 pieces, second edition. They made 100 pieces in a first edition, and then when they found out they were able to secure another batch of ETA movements, they made a second edition. And this one's pretty cool. This one is pretty nice. I had a hard time deciding between this one and the one that I ended up getting. This one's pretty beautiful, right? I wish I could zoom in. I don't know what the hell happened to my zoom. Oh, wait, there you go. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? I had a very hard time between this one and the other one. Yeah, I know. I want both of them. Right? I want them both. This one's so beautiful. But I went with the uniqueness of the orange hands, which is what really compelled me to this one. Really compelled me to this one. So it's done. Done deal. Hey, what do you guys think of that Breitling that everybody's all jumping on about now? This one right here. What do you guys think about this sucker? I wish I could zoom in. Well, let me zoom in. View. Zoom in is working with this one here. Okay. So this is the Breitling. You notice how as each day goes on, more and more people are talking about this watch. I'm wondering if, this watch is only hot in our little group and the rest of the world doesn't give a damn about it. Do you know that these numerals are hand applied? It says right here the price. There you go. And what was most interesting to me was that Bear Clooney said that he called Breitling and his AD today and they told him it was sold out. Did you catch that? And when I called my AD a week ago about this watch, he left me a message 4 days ago telling me, I have good news for you about that Breitling you want. And when I called Breitling and when I called him back, he wasn't there. He's at a GIA certification training and he's not going to be back until Monday or maybe tomorrow. So I'm going to call him tomorrow and find out if he reserved one of these watches for me. And then, I also called Breitling. I called Breitling directly at this number down here. And they told me I'm on the top list for one. I mean, she said that. So did they sell out within frickin' 1 week after I called Breitling? Is that a possibility? Or, I mean, maybe not sold out, but like waitlisted now? They might be waitlisted now. Yeah, it's a special edition. They made exactly the same number as corresponding to the year they're paying homage to, the 1959 Navitimer. So, what's special about this watch? Well, It is apparently very close to the original one that it's replicating here. The numerals are hand applied. You know how big of a deal that can be to people. I personally like the numerals, the Arabic numerals on the dial, which isn't on any of their watches really. And I like the black and the white. I've always been a sucker for the syringe needle hands, which I have none. Patek Philippe uses the syringe needle hands a lot. And I always thought those are the nicest looking hands of any hands. It's an in-house movement. It's basically their chronograph B1 movement stripped down from they stripped away the components that make it an automatic watch, so it's a manual wind. It's a manual wind. And from what I have gathered in my little bit of research, this Breitling movement, chronograph movement, is actually a really good quality movement. And a lot of companies actually piggyback their movements on the ETAs. I think even Audemars Piguet does. I'm not sure if they use ETA or not, but they don't have an in-house chrono movement. They build on top of it. So I looked at one of the things I considered is I looked at the originals to see if they're worth, why not just buy a vintage one instead of this one? Well, what I found out is the vintage ones they have to sit in a box. You can't really use them. They're kind of shitty. And a lot of them are going to be Frankensteined. So who wants to buy something we don't know what the hell it's about? And besides that, if you go to if you go to, what is this? Breitling. Where's Breitling on here? They don't have Breitling. I'm looking for the Breitlings that were on here, and I don't see them. They must have sold them already. They had a couple of old Navitimers. What happened to them? I'm not seeing them. Hold on. Maybe she sold them. They had one exactly a 1959 or close. Huh. Vintage corner. Yeah, I'm not looking for a watch that I cannot use. I would want to wear this Breitling for sure. And this is a wearable one. Wow, they got rid of them. They had two Navitimers, one from 1957 one from 1964, and they're not even in the recently sold section. I wonder why. They got lazy and they didn't want to put them up here, or let's just look one more time. I just want to at least, oh, there's one of them. Here it is. Oh, they won't let me pull up the picture. Let me zoom in on it. Okay. See that one? They wanted 13,000 for this one right here. They wanted 13,000 for this 1963. That's just going to sit in a box. Now they had a 1957, which was very close looking to the re-edition, and it was 17,000. Yeah, for a watch you can't really use. But someone bought that shit. Look at that. Someone bought it. They sold them both quick. Have you ever checked out this website before? This is where I buy my watches now. Any of my secondhand watches.
Kitchen door.
Yeah, that's what I thought too. The new one doesn't seem that expensive compared to them at all, right? For having upgraded components, the latest everything. I mean, it's beautiful too. It's quite beautiful. I think it's beautiful. Look, I've always been a hater on Breitling. I'll be honest. Not much of a hater, but I wasn't ever much of a fan of Breitling. And I always did like the Navitimers, but there was something about them that didn't catch me. But then when this one came out, this one was just perfect. It's the numerals for me that did it. If it didn't have the numbers all around, I'm very particular when I see something I spot and I like. Like on the Doxa with the orange hands, I go for it. Those orange hands got me. And then with this Navitimer, the Arabic numerals all around got me too. Because if you look at a lot of their other Navitimers, like even this old vintage one, it's only got the numerals, it's only got one at the 12 o'clock. I think the numerals they just add a punch to that dial. I like the cream colored that they use as well. The cream coloring they use as well is real schmicko. So when you look at the other Navitimers that they have available, like if you go to, it's the Navitimer 1 basically. I don't like that Navitimer 8, the way they have the pattern of the numbers on the outside of all the way out there on the outside. It just, something about it isn't me. It's not making it for me. It's different. But this one, so again, you'll see there's no numerals here at all. And you only see the numerals on the re-edition. I mean, it just pops with those numbers on it. Yeah. I'll admit, I love these colorful dials too. This Swiss Air dial, the I like the black and white Navitimers as well. The black and white, awesome contrast. I like this TWA dial a lot with the red. Even this GMT is really cool over here on the right with the red GMT hand. Very legible. But, you know, these watches are always around and they're a dime a dozen. If I was going to get any of these Navitimers, if the other edition didn't come out, it would be this one right here. This B01 chronograph 46, this second one, the black and white. I think that's the nicest looking one they got. It even gives the one I'm looking at a run for its money. That's that black and white. The black and white looks really good. But again, you can see that none of them have the Arabic numerals. None of them have the Arabic numerals. Some of them have dates. I don't want a frickin' date. Why does this keep coming up? Does it have a date? The one that I want, does it have a date? I hope it doesn't have a date. Ah, it doesn't have a date. Thank you. There's no date on it, too. Look at that. It's the best looking one, huh? I'm gonna have to start driving Uber, dude. I'm buying way too many watches. Yeah. This one all the way on the right. The Rattrapante 45. That one's pretty amazing too. It's a chronograph Rattrapante. 45 millimeter. See that? It's 11,000. That's a nice looking watch. And you can time two moving objects at the same time with the Rattrapante function. But I'm not into 45 millimeter watches either. I got to tell you, I'm not into it. Rolex 40 is about as big as I like to go. And this Breitling comes in at a modest a modest 41. Case size is 41. Look how beautiful that looks when it's on its side like that. Can I move it over? I can't with that. Oh, it won't let me do that. Shit. Okay. Look how nice it looks at that angle. Yeah, 40 is big enough with those super cases. I agree. I mean, I've only had the maxi case ceramic Rolexes. That's all I got. And then when I got a Daytona, I was like, oh man, that nice thinner case, smaller case design. It's more comfortable. It's more practical. It just, I don't need to scream big block 906L Rolex steel on my wrist all the time, you know? So this is 41 millimeter and caliber Breitling B09, which is the B01 stripped of its automatic function. 70-hour power reserve, which is the same as a Daytona. One-fourth of a second. Chronograph. What does that mean? One-fourth of a second. $30-minute, 12-hour, I'm not getting the quarter second. Because this dial goes from 0 to 60 in single increments, the 9 o'clock dial. So that looks like seconds to me. I'm not sure what 1/4 second means, but whatever. And then this threw me off too. You see here where it says case, steel, and 18 karat red gold. Where the fuck is the red gold? I don't see any red gold on this watch. I was wondering where the hell the red gold is. I looked everywhere. I didn't see no red gold on this watch. Do you see anything on here that looks like red gold? The fuck? I'll be damned if there's any red gold on this watch. I'm hoping the hands are white gold so that they don't corrode. But maybe the hands are rose gold and they don't look as though they're rose gold in this picture. Because they sure as hell look like they're silver colored in this picture. The numbers are painted. That was my first guess, but then the numbers are painted. So let's see here. It says the Navitimer re-edition has been designed with painstaking attention to every detail to faithfully match the design of the original Navitimer in 1959. It has a stainless steel case of precisely the same dimensions as its inspiration and an all-black dial with tone-on-tone small second, 30-minute, and 12-hour chronograph counters, recreating one of the signature elements of the original Navitimer, reference 806 in 1959. The dial, protected by a highly domed plexiglass, is highlighted with a Breitling inscription in capital letters and an unsigned winged logo. Is the
Inside.
plexiglass?
Bedroom,
So it's not sapphire? Oh, maybe. No. This is sapphire. In fact, the only concessions to modernity are the water resistance, which has been increased to 30 meters in a superluminova coating, for which a very special attention has been paid to the color to ensure that it aligns with the aging of the luminescent material in earlier watches. So we don't have the tritium coating, superluminova. It has a hand-finished application which gives the dial an additional touch of vintage allure and all of its character. The re-edition is powered by an in-house Breitling B09, hand-wound caliber based on the B1. So it doesn't mention anything about rose gold. Doesn't mention anything about rose gold. And the crystal, gosh, it seems, I want to say the crystal's plexiglass. Because this is kind of written in bad English. But I'm pretty sure it's telling me that it's in plexiglass, right? It says, recreating one of the signature elements of the original Navitimer reference 806 in 1959, the dial, protected by a highly domed plexiglass, is highlighted with a Breitling inscription in capital letters and an unsigned winged logo. And then it goes on to say that, in fact, the only concessions to modernity, is that even a word? Modernity? So it says the only thing they've done modern to the watch is bring up the water resistance, change the luminescence to superluminova. That's what it says. So this is a frickin' plexiglass domed frickin' watch. Bingo. You with me? So this is going to be the only Navitimer, modern Navitimer with plexiglass instead of sapphire dome. That's kind of interesting. And you know what I like? It says highly domed, highly domed. So it's going to be really beautiful. That dome that's arching over that dial. Wouldn't you think? I like it. I like it a lot. The only thing I don't like is the fact that I'm going to be chasing watches, dude. I'm chasing these suckers, man. Fuck. Every time when I say I'm done buying watch, at least I'm looking at pieces that cost less than 10 grand. When you start, you can't stop. Hey, I'll give us this much. It's better than drugs. It's better than gambling. It's better than being even a boozer. All of those things, you lose all your money. So it's better to have this kind of an addiction, I guess. I mean, it's a good thing there's people addicted to this shit. Otherwise, there would be no secondary market for these boogers. Can you imagine if every watch you bought was a marriage watch? And you know what? I think I'm too young in the watch game to even say that, because I think that back in the day, every watch has been a marriage watch. I mean, when has there been a watch craze? You know, like I said, I haven't been in this that long, but from what I can tell, I don't think there's ever been a fucking watch craze. You know, because you know how you know there wasn't? Because of all these vintage watches that were in people's boxes and shoe boxes and in auctions and estate sales, and nobody took care of them and gave a crap about them. How come? Because they never anticipated they were going to be worth anything. They were a dime a dozen. So I'm hoping that this whole wave, this whole 4-year wave of watch buying and watch craze has created a foundation in pricing that we can't go below. Because if you have an entire generation of people that spent X amount of dollars plus premium for all these watches in the last 4 years, I mean, hopefully they won't suck up and ever give up these watches for less than what they paid for, thus holding the value of these watches like a stock. Because, you know, I mean, how many people are buying Batmans right now for God knows how much money? How much are they paying for a Batman? I mean, if somebody's paying 17 grand for a Batman today, I mean, do you think they'd ever sell that for less than 17 grand in the future? I'm hoping that they're wealthy enough, these guys that are paying these extra premiums on these watches, that they're wealthy enough to where they're not going to ever have to dump them. So that, you know what I'm saying? Hopefully they're buying it with good money, not bad money. Okay, let's see. So here I am again, live streaming myself on a Breitling that I'm going to end up frickin' talking myself into, just like I did with the Doxa. I wonder if they have any more pictures of this son of a gun anywhere. What else do they say about it? Boy, I tell you what, they don't tell you anything. I want to know what the rose... It says the case has 18 karat red gold. That's a mistake. It's got to be a mistake. Oh, I know where I can find something else on it. Here we go. Here, hold on. Wait, reissue. Huh. Oh, shit. Looks like maybe some people already got the watch. Maybe. This is a watch company in New York, and they might already have the watch. See that? I think they already got it. And they told Bear that it was sold out already? Man, I hope my AD got one for me. And that's what that happy message was about, right? Right? Shit, dude. Shit, dude. What could the happy message be about if it wasn't about this? It has to be about this. The dude got me a Breitling. And you know why? Because nobody nobody from that whole nobody went to this AD at all. I bet you nobody even went to this AD and even asked or cared about this damn watch. So when he said he was going to send his contacts at Breitling and his contacts at corporate for his place, um, try to get me the watch. He sent emails, and they probably said, yeah, of course we can get one for your store. Sure, we'll give you one for your store. I'll bet you I got the one for my store. So this is the first time I ever seen it side by side with an original. And these guys in New York have one. And it's funny, Fratello watches, I actually came across them today on my Instagram, and I followed them starting today because there was a Patek. They had a Patek for sale, a 5196 platinum with Breguet numerals, and it popped out at me, and I said, "Oh shit!" I started following him because of that. So I know about Fratello watches. They're in New York, and they got one of these mother suckers. Look at that. They frickin' got one. And it sure looks true. It looks true to the original. And even the hand painting, in 50 years, the hand painting is going to look faded like the one on the left. So it's going to actually develop patina, unlike most modern watches today. Yeah, that's a nice side by side. Let me see if I can make it bigger. No. Yeah. I'm going to look at this for a little while. I'm going to enjoy this side by side picture here for a few minutes. Look at the 4. That's what they mean by a flat 4. The top is flat. So when they're talking about Kermit, Rolex Kermits, I'm not sure if all of them are supposed to have flat 4s, or was it the older ones that have flat 4s and the newer Kermits don't have flat 4s? But there was something about the flat 4 I know pertaining to the Kermit that was extremely important to know if you're buying a Kermit. So don't buy a Kermit unless you know what the fuck the flat 4 is about on that watch. Yeah, that's a nice side by side. These guys positioned it exactly identical. So you can really look at it. I wonder if the bead count is the same. The bead count on the bezel, it's got to be, right? I mean, if they followed everything identical, the bead count is going to be identical. I'm trying to look at the beads. Yeah, they kind of do look identical. That's a good timepiece, huh? That's a good timepiece. Man, I'll tell you what. I hope I pulled the trigger on this at the right moment. And I hope he didn't lose it for me either, because he went on some training episode. And when I called, the boss said, Phil is gone until Saturday. Call back on Saturday. He's at GIA training. And I said, well, he left me, I'm looking for that Breitling. And he said that he left me a message and said, I have good news for you. Call me back. And the manager said, if he said he has good news for you, then I would say he has good news for you. It was pretty funny. That's what he said. And he said, call back Saturday. He should be back on Saturday. And lo and behold, he wasn't there today. So we are going to call tomorrow and see if he's there tomorrow. And you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to tell him to pack that son of a bitch up. Just like Archie said, that's what credit's for, right? Yeah, they're open tomorrow. They're in the mall, so they have to be open. They're not a regular watch store that's closed on Saturday and Sunday like Bob's Watches is. Oh, you said you never seen European Watch Company. Look, man, you've never seen European Watch Company. Look, dude. Let me tell you how I found European Watch Company. First of all, they're really big. They're big. They're really big. But you know how it is when you search for watch companies and stuff. I'll tell you, I've been buying and looking at watches for quite a while, and I still never came across it. So I was actually looking at pictures on Google, swaps, slideshow of Google watch pictures, and